One. We're live.
Good evening and welcome to the January Morganton Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I'd like to welcome you here tonight and I hope you had a nice holiday. We're off to business in the new year. First item on our agenda is under old business, and that's the review and approval of our November 2013 minutes. Members of the commission have received copies and had a chance to review that. Are there any additions, deletions, changes? Seeing none, I'll move those are approved as submitted. Our next item is a review of city council items that addressed planning and zoning since our last meeting. Lee, do you have any update on that?
The City Council did take up one item of business since your last regular meeting. They had considered a rezoning request submitted by Alpine Mill LLC to rezone 13.4 acres of property located at 109 East Fleming Drive, which is the old Drexel Heritage 7 plant there across from the Roses Shopping Center. The request was from heavy industrial to general business. The public hearing was held in December, and that was approved by the City Council and rezoned to general business. And I believe that project is continuing to move forward as it was presented to you back in November.
Yeah, there were some few modifications, or at least some more information that came out, I think, at the City Council.
There was. They're working with the North Carolina School for the Deaf Foundation to put the a 42-unit senior deaf community within that old mill, along with some other mixed-use pieces, commercial and things that you saw. Yeah. I think that you saw some of the plans at our meeting, but I don't know that that's all the deal has been finalized yet, but I know that they announced that they were working with them.
It's a dynamic project. It's going to be
it'll be a nice renovation, redevelopment effort down there. I hope it all works out. Okay. They did do one other item. We've had a new appointment to the commission, and unfortunately, it was short notice, so he didn't get here. He was just appointed Monday night. Dr. David Kirk,
cool,
will be a new member of this commission, and he'll be starting with us next month.
Right. I look forward to his attendance then. Any other questions for Lee at this time? Okay, moving forward, our next item on our agenda is appearances, and this is an opportunity for anyone that's in our audience tonight that would like to address the commission for some planning and zoning idea or comment you'd like to make to the commission at this time that's not on our agenda tonight. Okay, seeing no one move to the podiums, let's move on to new business. And our item under new business tonight is a rezoning request that's been submitted to rezone approximately 0.42 acres of property that's located at 607 Valdese Avenue, and that request is to rezone from residential high single family to residential high. This has been submitted by Jim Yamin. And Lee, would you give us a staff evaluation of this request?
Well, if you'll turn in your package to the rezoning evaluation, this is case number 14-001. Submitted by Jim Yamin. Hope I pronounced that correctly. The property at 607 Valdese Avenue is presently zoned residential high single family. Residential high single family districts are restricted to single family uses only. They're designed to be on small lots, as small as 6,000 square feet. These are areas that are generally found in older sections of town where you have smaller lot development. Sometimes you see some new development using RHS, but most of it's in the smaller, older neighborhoods in town. Chad, if you'll pull up on the monitor the location map. It may not be connected. Okay, I apologize. Yeah, let me see if I can get that connected right quick, so the folks at home can see the property. Anyway, as Chad's working through that, I'll go ahead and describe the rest of the.
Hey Lee, get all L4, L5, maybe you bring it up. No, I'll come and do it for you right quick.
Okay. Going through the rest of the package, the property is being requested to go to residential high conditional use, which the rezone evaluation was written prior to the new request being made. Residential high districts permit a wide variety of residential uses, including single-family and multifamily development. RH districts also permit Class A mobile manufactured homes on individual lots and mobile home parks developed under certain conditions and standards. RH districts can permit up to 13.5 dwelling units per acre. Accesses to the property would be along Valdese Avenue. Valdese Avenue is a 2-lane residential city street. It carries less than 2,000 daily vehicle trips. The current capacity of Valdese Avenue is 12,000. It's quite a wide roadway, and the carrying capacity of that road is much higher than what it currently carries. So the request of residential high would not significantly impact the current conditions on the road. Water service, the property does have access to a 16-inch city water line that's located along Valdese Avenue, and this 16-inch line is one of the major distribution water lines in the city. It's adequate to serve multifamily uses. Sewer line, there is a sewer line that has that's adjacent to the property. This is an 8-inch sewer line. It's located along the western property line, and this sewer line is of an adequate size and condition to accommodate a multifamily development on the property. The city's Mission 2030 land development plan indicates that the Valdese Avenue corridor should remain primarily single-family residential in nature. And so the request, as it was originally submitted, was residential high, which was multifamily. The request now by the applicant is to residential high conditional use for the purpose of accessing a multifamily development, not developing this particular triangle to multifamily use, but to allow just a drive entrance to be built across the property. The original request of residential high would not have been compatible with the Mission 2030 land development plan. Currently, this property adjoins 6 vacant acres to the west, and Chad still hasn't been able to pull up my maps. I apologize. If there is a large tract of land that lies between the subject property and Mountain Crest School to the west. The applicant has currently put the property under contract for multifamily development from the adjoining property owner and a piece of the property from the school. This section of the area is zoned for multifamily use currently as we sit. This little triangle piece that adjoins those 2 larger tracts and adjoins Valdese Avenue is zoned for single-family use. So there's a transition that takes place on the border of this property. Taking it to multifamily use, in essence, would allow access to Valdese Avenue for the driveway, but it would also allow it to be developed for apartments, which kind of goes against the land development plan in this area, because what happens is this would be the only piece of property on Valdese Avenue if it was to go to residential high for multifamily use. It creates a domino effect. The adjacent property then has, that it could potentially go for multifamily use. The property across the road could be used for multifamily use, and so you end up with a condition that starts eroding the property boundary, the zoning district boundary in the area. The request that we recommended to prevent this is a conditional use request, which would allow the developer to build the driveway entrance across this triangle piece, but not allow the development of apartments on the property or allow a mobile home, which would typically be allowed in RH, to go on the property. They've agreed to do this. It basically preserves kind of the existing conditions along Valdese Avenue other than a driveway, and has to be accepted by the developer, in which he has done, but it also protects the adjoining property owners from any change taking place. Now, obviously, we talked about this in our workshop this afternoon. The city is in the process of reworking its zoning ordinance and redrawing boundaries and creating new districts, and we do not know yet what those districts are going to be. We've talked about some ideas for districts in our workshops, but until that ordinance is complete, we're not real sure what shape that's going to take. So I've explained this to the developer, made him aware that we are in a zoning ordinance process. Obviously, he has a project that needs to move forward for financing purposes and other reasons. He wanted to go ahead and pursue this rezoning under the conditions that we're talking about. And what we will do as we get into the new zoning ordinance, we'll have some discussions about how we're going to handle carrying forward these conditions into the new ordinance. So, having said all that, we would recommend approval of the request as a conditional use, RH conditional use property, and for the purpose of access only, or certainly to be utilized as a single-family house property if they want to, continue to use it as a single-family house.
Anyone have any questions of Lee at this particular juncture? Okay. Hearing none, I would like to open this portion up to the public for comment, and I'd like to take anyone in the audience who would like to address favorably this request. Please step forward and give us your name and address.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Larry Westnut, and I live at 610 Valdese Avenue, which is across the street from 607. And I came here tonight as the representative of 600 block of Valdese Avenue, and to say that I agree with what Lee is suggesting with the conditional use of that property, 607 Valdese Avenue. Our desire is to leave Valdese Avenue residential high single family. We feared any rezoning other than that would result in vacant land on Valdese Avenue being developed. My property has over 5 acres of property that would readily be easy to develop, but I have no desire to do that. I'd rather keep the street what it is, residential high, single family, and not upset the balance of the neighborhood by development. If the rezoning changes to residential high without the conditional use, then surely other owners will pursue development as well, and we fear that a domino effect would occur by doing that. And as well, if it does change, they'd be foolish not to. I may be foolish not to, but I don't have any desire to develop that property. And I think probably leaving the property with the conditional use, and if the house on the property is razed or tore down, that it be put back a single-family dwelling rather than anything else. And I don't think we have any problems with zoning it the way that the city has said or Lee said. I think that would be good. The property needs to have something done to it. But we desire to leave the street residential house single family for our use. Thank you for your time and your service to this board.
Quick question. Have you discussed with the developer what his future plans would be, or what his
No, I have not.
long-range plans are? Okay.
I've only talked with Lee Anderson about
All
it.
right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this zoning request? Okay, seeing none, we'll change directions and, oh, okay. So, you'll step forward and give us your name and address, sir.
My name's Jim Yamin. I'm the developer. Sorry I couldn't get here soon, but I wanted to share with you. I've got a site plan that can illustrate how this lot would work in terms of access to the multifamily site.
And if you could also give us your address for our records, please.
Address is 14 Brewery Lane in Tryon, North Carolina.
Do you have another copy for me for the record? Did you have another? Do you need that one?
Yeah, actually, I don't have anything to add to the outline that Lee presented. Obviously, I would like to please request that the board grant the application for a conditional use for this lot. As you can see, it would facilitate greatly the development of the remaining acreage that I've got under contract, and I'd be glad to entertain any questions you might have.
Do you have any questions concerning the conditional use itself? Just so we understand that you're clear.
I am. Yeah, I had a good discussion with Mr. Anderson, and I think this is certainly the way to go. I'm very comfortable with the plan.
And your proposed property use, I'm looking at 12 one-bedroom units, 40 two-bedroom, and then 24 three, a total of 76 units.
Uh-huh.
And is this over, two-story elevation or larger?
Two-story, yeah.
Two-story. Okay. Does anyone ever have any other questions?
It would appear here that Valdese Avenue, if you look at the entrance and to the left of that, is that structure there one of the apartments? On your...
Actually, the community building, that would contain the management office, multipurpose room, computer center, fitness center, and storage. That's not a residential building. That would just be to serve the rental apartment community.
Is that in any way on part of the property that we're trying to pass the conditional zoning on now?
I think the way this is drawn, a corner of the building might be on that line. I mean, that particular sketch doesn't show the boundary line there, but it's, if anything, it's only the corner of that community building that would actually cross over onto the particular property in question. And if we need to, we can easily sort of adjust the location of that footprint so it wouldn't be so.
And that building, community building, would face the apartments or would face Valdese Avenue?
It would face the apartments. In other words, if you were sort of driving in to the driveway to the apartment community, it would face that driveway essentially. So it would face kind of parallel, I guess, with Valdese Avenue.
Is it the point where that splits?
Yeah, it probably splits that.
Property.
The topography on the lot would probably accommodate some adjustment of those buildings. If this was based on the conditions that we've talked about, that's obviously beyond what, as far as a component of the multifamily project other than the driveway, it would probably have to be shifted further away from Valdese Avenue in order to meet the general intent of what we talked about this evening, or what the staff's understanding of it was. So, but again, it's not to scale, but it does appear that it's probably being split, the unit that's being shown. So if it could move perhaps to the west a little bit
I think we've got a lot of room to shift these footprints. So this is just a very preliminary site layout.
Gives you a
right
good
now.
general idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Understanding that the general conditions of the rest of the site, this is not a rezoning for the entire project site. It's just for this triangle piece along Valdese Avenue. So there's a lot of room to redesign and work this area out in the back.
Any other questions? I have one last one. Has the property been conveyed from the owner to yourself now? Is it
I currently own the property.
okay? My question might be better directed to the city attorney. I'm wondering whether or not restrictive covenants would apply or could be structured to answer the mail for what we're trying to do with a conditional zoning request. I mean, is that possible?
I would simply say it's certainly possible, but I'm not sure that that's really an appropriate matter before this board. You've got a request before you for a condition.
I understand. I'm just asking for your legal opinion on it. Okay.
I would imagine that's true.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Woody, is there any way we could add landscaping as a condition? Because basically you'd still be able to see all of these units from Valdese Avenue.
That's a condition you can request. The developer has to agree. Conditional use has to be agreed upon by the developer, but we can certainly offer that.
But it only apply to that triangular piece, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the whole project's not under consideration, just the triangle.
Right.
Is that what you're requesting then, is just for that triangular piece?
Yeah.
Anyone else in the audience wants to speak in favor of the petition?
My name's Douglas Johnson. I own the property at 115 South U Street. I've been there for 29 years, which is adjacent to the oil company, the old Nelson Oil Company, which has just recently been agreed on about what can go in there that we took quite a few years to get cleaned up. And I'm quite a little bit in favor for this. I feel like it would help that area because me being there for so long, I've seen the woods set there. And actually, on a couple occasions, there's been quite a few activities that have happened that it would be good to have it developed in this type manner, you know. So I'm all in favor for it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
My name is Derek Reynolds, and I live at 600 Valdese Avenue, and I've been there approximately 5 years, and I'm also in favor of this project and what it can possibly do for the community.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this request? If not, anyone in the audience that would like to speak against this request? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion of our meeting on this topic and bring it to the commission for discussion or a motion. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion for this property to be rezoned as a conditional use request, residential high?
So move.
I've got a
Second.
first and I've got a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I bring it for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. That goes to our city council in February.
That meeting will be held on February the 3rd at 6 p.m. in this council chamber. It will be a public hearing.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, is there any other items that need to be brought forth for discussion? Lee, any updates?
Just again, I kind of briefly touched so the folks at home watching and the folks in the audience, we are working on a new zoning ordinance. It's in the draft process. The Planning Commission has been working over the last 4 months with private consultant Benchmark Incorporated out of Concord, Kannapolis area, who are helping us draft the ordinance that will be presented to a full public hearing and workshop session for the public in probably later in the spring, in the June or July timeframe. We have workshop minutes on file here at the city. The public is certainly welcome to come by and review those minutes and take a look at any of the drafts information that we have available at the present time. Again, it's very preliminary. We're not at a point where this is the recommended language, but just to let folks know that we are working on the process. So we'll keep you apprised as we get into further meetings.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll move we adjourn.